So, before we leave Ivarstead, I want to go check out this Shroud Hearth Barrow. Mainly because the guy in the inn told me not to, right? I mean, he said, you know, he saw a ghost and scared him away, and the locals are all superstitious of this place and tells us to steer clear of it. Well, then that's where we need to go first. I mean, that's just logical, right? Baddest enemies mean the best loot. So, there's something nasty here. We need to go find it, kill it, and take its stuff. There you go. Loot for the win. Guy said he saw a ghost here that, like, looked right through him into his very soul or something like that. And, you know, I'm beginning to suspect something of a conspiracy with that guy in the inn. Not only the whole thing with Narfi's parents and then the disappearance of his sister, whom the guy knew where she went, and she just never came back one day. And Narfi being played off as the crazy guy, and then somebody puts out a contract on Narfi himself later as being the last witness that maybe might draw suspicion to the innkeeper. The evil innkeeper. And so he has us find the sister's body to throw suspicion off of himself. And then here he tells us to stay away, knowing damn well that that's probably going to send us straight here, which it did, because, well, we're tools like that, right? And so we come and take care of this for him, get this whole Nordic ruin opened up, so he can come in later and loot the place for himself, whatever's left. Huh? That's alright. One thing he doesn't know is if I come in to loot this place, there's not going to be much left, because I'm going to take everything I can get my hands on. Oh, look, there's a rotten, stinking corpse over there. Let me see if it's got any gold on it. I mean, I'm not playing around. If it's there, I want it. Let me see if I can remember the door pattern here. Okay, well, apparently I've already gotten that skill book. Oh, that sucks. Alright, so I think the last one is a trap. I think it, like, sets off fire in the room or spikes in your face or some shit like that. Anyway, let's see. Third one, the first one? I think that's it. No, that locks us out. Or locks us in, rather. Let me see. Alright, so the first lever, raise these two doors. And what if second lever drops and the first lever just raises these two doors? Does that work? Let's try that. Oh, there we go. Alright. Anyway, so we got a way out. Alright, so we're going to go find this ghost telling us to leave this place. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Now, if I recall, this entire dungeon is like full of traps. Like, there's a lot of traps in this one, more than usual. I mean, you'll find these random pressure plates and stuff in some of these old barrows and ruins and stuff, but this place has like a ton of them. Like almost every chest, each wall, swinging blades coming out of the ceiling, those swinging spike doors. Tell you what, on this difficulty, one thing I love about playing this way is the traps actually matter. I mean, no one likes to get killed by a trap, but the fact that there's something to be avoided and they actually are relevant in the game. Now, if I went and got a bunch of OP'd gear and, you know, I had like full Daedric or Dragon Bone or something like that and all my stuff, true enough, these traps would probably be trivial even on this difficulty, but run around in basic stuff, and it's like a twofold thing. One is it makes a lot of the stuff in the game relevant, so using some of the potions that you might otherwise just let sit and wind up selling or clogging up your inventory, you can actually use some of them. Little, you know, frost and fire resistance here and there, a little maybe extra one-handed damage or bow damage here and there, or strengthen your spells a little bit, or, you know, recover magic or stamina faster, and, you know, stuff like that. It actually comes into play, especially during some of the fights and things, so it becomes relevant. And true enough, if you know some of these dungeons, you already know where all the enemies are placed, you know what to expect, and you can kind of pre-fire a lot of this stuff, then even then, you know, it's a little easier, but still, like I say, it becomes a little more needful to use some of the things in the game that you might otherwise neglect, because you really don't have to worry about it. Honestly, if your armor and your weapon is good enough, you can just kind of run through the game, sort of, regardless of the difficulty. But, kind of limit some of that stuff and don't go, you know, to min-max all the gear and stuff and play the game as it is. True enough, I'll do my crafting. But I think this is for me like a perfect balance. Not only does it, like I say, keep the stuff in the game and the combat relevant, but also it's like I fit into the game a little more. Like, how often do you walk into one of these towns and see a random NPC walking down the street in a full set of Daedric with a Storm Atronach summon behind him and a huge 1,000-point damage dragon bone two-hander on his strap to his back. You know, I mean, you don't see that. You see guys walking around with iron and steel weapons and fur and iron armor, you know? And so it, I don't know, it's a way to kind of blend into the game a little bit better. Just to be, I don't know, you know. Anyway, it's fun for me. But these traps in here, especially, I think it's the swinging doors with the spikes on them. Those are the ones I hate the worst. Because if you get caught dead in the middle of one, it's a one-shot kill. I mean, it really is. And I don't think that ever really is not a factor, even at much higher levels. Once you've got a healthy health pool and you've got, you know, a good, decent armor rating and some, you know, decent armor build. Once you get your armor rating enough, you'll get some damage resistance. And true enough, you can even get light armor to where your defense is just as good as heavy armor. It's got some different perks that go with it. You know, I think with the heavy armor, you have more stun and stagger resistance. And with the light armor, your stamina, you don't get a stamina regeneration penalty. In fact, I think at some point, one of the passives actually gives you a bonus. So your stamina regenerates almost as fast as you use it. I mean, at one point. And that really fits into my playstyle anyway. But other than that, the overall protection rating, it eventually caps. And so, for those of you that think that having that huge set of Dragon Bone with a 3 million armor rating with all these, you know, glitches and stuff, doesn't matter. It's still going to cap off at a certain point, and I can get just as much defense with my light set of fur armor as you can with all that heavy tin can stuff. I really can, actually. I mean, you know, you'll have to, you know, enchant your gear just right, make it just right, but it's possible. Something to keep in mind. So, yeah, maybe late game, these traps won't be such a deterrent. I'll at least be able to survive them, you know, here and there. But anyway, I just like that they are a factor, that there's something to be avoided, something to be taken seriously rather than just a, oh, look, I stepped on a tripwire. A big old log comes swinging down and hit me in my face, does 3 damage. Whoop-de-doo-dah. It's not like that, so I'm kind of cool with that.
Keep an eye out for wolves if you're headed up the path to High Hrothgar. We don't get many visitors through here, unless they're headed...
Let me see that. I can't believe this.
It was all just a fabrication of this Windelius character.
I can't believe we were so stupid.
Well, least I can do is give you something for taking care of him. If you won't accept it as a payment, consider it a gift.
Okay, now to add a little bit.
Thirsty, food for the hungry.
Let's see if this guy. Let's see if I can load any weight on this guy. I don't think he'll. Actually, I don't think he'll buy any. Yeah, he won't buy any of my stuff that actually weigh. Okay, yeah, screw that. Doesn't really have anything I want either.
If you're headed up to the monastery,
what if this guy is in with Wendelius, all right, and he's convinced the rest of the town folk that Wendelius is a spirit to keep the rest of the town folk away, while Wendelius works on the cave, and since the cave hasn't managed to kill the guy, he wants us to go in and take care of him for him so he doesn't have to share the profits with Wendelius, and he's hoping we die in here with all these traps too, so he can come in behind once the doors open and we've got some of the danger out of the way and loot the cave for himself. What if that's his plan? Huh? I'm just saying. It's possible. All right. Don't ask me what I have against that innkeeper. I have no idea. All right, so now we have the claw. So we can go actually open this puzzle door. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these puzzle doors here in the you know, in these barrows and these Nordic ruins and stuff. Okay, don't you run into a similar door? I mean, it's a different locking mechanism, but it's still kind of similar. When you go through the Thieves Guild and you go into this one particular place, but I believe that actually leads to you know, one of the actual Dwarven ruins or something, but it seems like the lock is similar. True enough, it doesn't take a claw, but I'm wondering if before the Nords and the Dwarves went to war, back when Skyrim was co-inhabited by several peoples, before the Nords, I guess, specifically took over themselves. In fact, they suffered a great defeat at the hands of the Dwarves and some others called the Kimmer. Not sure what the Kimmer or the Chimmer were or are. Unless that's another word for the ancient elves that were, I don't know. Anyway, they'd become enslaved to the dwarves or something. Anyway, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm no lore aficionado, but I do like it and I do look into it a little bit. either way, before they became completely hostile, and the Nords basically said, you know, Skyrim is completely our land, get the hell out of it. And I guess if it weren't for somebody, particularly, in particular one Daedric Prince, maybe, who got rid of the Dwemer completely, maybe this would be a Dwemer land, and you wouldn't have the Sky Children and, you know, the Voice and the Dragonborn and this and all that. You'd have some whole other history that would have taken place with the dwarves. But anyway, they disappeared, basically all of a sudden, and left all their stuff and their machines behind. I think the machines were the big reason the Nords probably couldn't beat them, because in my gameplay experience, shouts have little or no effect on a lot of the dwarven constructs. Especially those spheres are nasty pieces of business. They really are.
Just a scratch.
So you get to the point where I'm kind of scared of those spheres. I'm not lying. Those things mean business. They can hit you close up and at range and stuff. They're nasty. But anyway, just throwing that out there. Just wondering if maybe the Nordic puzzle doors and the Dwarven puzzle locks are kind of based off the same type of thing. Some relation there or something. Guess we'll eventually get to the Thieves Guild. We'll make it to Riften eventually. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. We're gonna have to go there for the Dark Brotherhood anyway. They all kind of tie in together. I like how these storylines will send you to each other. In fact, the Thieves Guild even sends you, makes you cross paths with the Mages Guild. Whether you choose to join or not is up to you, but you at least cross paths up there. You get to Winterhold and you deal with some people there. And to find one guy in particular that you're sent to, you may actually have to get into the Mages Guild, or else find him in an inn in town. But anyway. There are probably a couple things that you'd benefit from joining the Mages Guild, even if you don't want to partake in most of their magic stuff. A few perks, passives, not just basically a fence, right? For one, who has give you access to some unique stuff, Black Soul Gems in particular, right off the top of my head. But it seems like access to the very top level spell books only come through the Mages College. Like if you wanted to summon like Dremora yourself or Storm Atronach yourself, it seems like those books are available like only there. I don't know if they're available through the regular court wizards in the rest of the holds. Even if you get to really high level, it seems like there's something you have to do to get the master level stuff. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. I'm not much of a big mage fan. Usually by the time I get to that point, I'm using the Sanguine Rose anyway. Not really worried about conjuring my own stuff. Doesn't really matter. I could go that route. I'm thinking about avoiding the Sanguine Rose altogether, although dealing with Sam Gwyn, I mean, it's funny. It's a fun quest. There's actually a shortcut on that quest. I don't know if it's the shortcut that's scripted, but it's the way I always do it. But it's a way to bypass a lot of the footwork in there. You essentially get to Markarth, and then you go back and you talk to what's her face, Isolde, back in Whiterun. And that sends you basically to the place you need to go to eventually wind up in the little garden area where he gives you the staff. You go straight to that rune across from Windhelm, from Whiterun, and it bypasses. I think if you don't do that, you have to go, like, I don't know, fight some hags and go off in the middle of, like, the swamps and do some other stuff. And anyway, it cuts out some of the... I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. I actually discovered that the very first time I did it completely by accident. I managed to, in the middle of that quest, wind up in Whiterun, probably unloading some gear or something, or doing some smithing. Who knows? But managed to talk to Isolde, probably to see if she'd marry me or not. I don't know. I don't remember what I was thinking, but talked to her just out of the blue at random in the middle of that quest, and she asked me about some ring or something, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea. No idea what to do with that quest. Never done it before. Hadn't looked anything up. And she basically said something about me and my fiance or something. I'm like, huh? And then next thing you know, I'm sent to this particular place that leads to where Sam Gwyn gives you the staff. And I was like, you know, seems like I probably wasn't supposed to talk to her yet, but it makes it much, much faster. Never really followed it out the long way. Might actually do that, but I think it sends you like to a bunch of different random areas that you have to get to on foot, and it's just hours of walking. Seems like you have to go to not Falkreath, but oh man, let me think. It seems like it's the little town that guy mentions on the cart at the very beginning of the game, while you're headed down to go get beheaded. I mean, like at the very beginning. Whatever that little village is named. It seems like you have to go there. Then you have to go out into the swamp over close to Rift, and then you have to like just literally across the map everywhere. I don't know. All right, so let me use some of these traps in my favor. Now I have to assume that Uthgerd's going to step on that inadvertently, so I need to get past this while it's reloading. And if she wants to kill herself with it, that's one thing. She's not going to kill me. Okay, now I do remember this room. Now, I don't know if there's a trip wire to make these things drop, but I know you can use these to your advantage too. And there's like a whole mess of skeletons right below. Down. Yeah, see? Apparently that floor is filled with oil or whatever, but that's a quick shot on those guys. And then if it's not an actual set trap, then it's an ambush by stupid Draugr, just like we met when we first came in, when that door closed on us and we had to fight off a zombie apocalypse in that little room. Might have had something to do with me making so much noise I literally woke the dead. They all decided to jump us. And then we have these guys waiting in ambush. And then when we get to the top of this little ramp, I believe there's another ambush. Yeah, this whole place is just full of this nonsense. But there is a shout here. There is a shout somewhere in this cave. I don't remember which one it is. I just know that there is one. Start practicing with our Mark of Death. I honestly don't think it's going to do a whole lot right now. The first rank of that, it may lower their armor a little bit. That's about it. It doesn't really start eating away at their defenses and their soul, like having all 3 words of the shout. Once you get all 3 words of the Mark of Death, it's nasty. Hit them with all 3 of those, and if you can get them lined up, you can hit 6, 7, 8, 10 enemies in a row, and it lasts for a while. It eats away at them. In fact, start hacking away at that first guy. By the time you get to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th guy, their armor and their defenses are so low, you're, I don't know, 2 and 3 shotting higher ranked enemies. I mean, you just watch chunks of health go off, and they have no way to defend themselves, so you just literally strip them of everything. And I think the 3rd rank actually eats away at their health a little bit. You actually see their health start to go down. I try to balance out archery and one-handed a little bit. Work on a little bit of both. If I just like forget I have one and neglect it for a long period of time, then it's just something I'll have to level later, so get a point here, get a point there, you know, that type of thing. I think we're leveling pretty evenly across the board. I'll start buying some training here. I'm getting a little gold under my belt. We're not spending a lot. A lot of my money's, considering we're not doing the whole Dwarven Ruins run. You know, we're not running any Dwarven Ruins right now. I'm having to buy a lot of gems. I'm even buying some gems to re-enchant stuff that I turn around and sell anyway. I actually kind of did a video on that. It's a great way to make money, but in this case, it's a great way to work on enchanting skill a bit and at least get some money back to where it's not just a complete drain on the pocketbook. Okay, now these will one-shot me. These blades right here. That's, like I said, that's what I like about this in particular. This kind of play style is it makes those relevant. You know, you have to time that trap. If you don't, you get caught and you die. I think that's really cool, actually. Okay, we'll change clips real quick. Actually, probably would have been a great save spot, but I can only transfer save files so big between the one computer and the other. Okay. Alright. Swinging door trap. Yep. Okay, now she steps on that while I'm in the middle of its arc. That's another one shot. So let me make sure I don't step on that while fighting this guy. It sucks to back up into a trap and the enemy you're sparring with winds up getting you killed with the trap. feel like I'm being trolled when that happens. And also the trick is to not catch Uthgard in that, because if you hit Uthgard with a full blast of Mark of Death, along with the enemies are able to hit her so hard they outright kill her. Okay. If I'd have knocked his body back onto that that pressure plate, that would have triggered the trap. Alright, so let's see if we can walk around. Uthgard, here, yeah, walk around the side. Please don't get me killed. Please don't get me killed. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're kind of in a dead end here because I can't go back or I'll get hit with the door. I can't go forward because well, I guess technically I probably could go forward.
That it?
I think you can pick the lock on that door, but one of these Draugr has the key. Now, all right, you see this guy? He's hitting Uthgard with magic right there. Get up behind him. If I was swinging even axes, especially if I was swinging maces, which now that I have my attack speed up, I could probably start to get away with it, but it has a much larger stamina draw. All right, drains your stamina instead of getting off 3 or 4, maybe 5 salvos of power attacks now. You know, that 1, 2, 3 where you do the spinning blades thing. You get maces in there, you might not get off but 2. I mean, you'll see your stamina go down much faster. Now, when you have a huge stamina pool and a bunch of reserve stamina and stuff, you can get away with maces and axes. Maces are still just a little slow, but axes are just that sweet in-between. It's too bad I really just don't like the way iron axes look. I really don't. I just think they look a little cheesy. Just kind of lame, you know, boring, vanilla, almost like they look like they're made of painted plastic. I don't know, just not a fan. Iron swords aren't so bad, all right, but axes are that sweet middle spot where they're not too slow, but they have a higher chance to stagger. And it's just, I don't know what the numbers are, and I don't know what the mechanic is behind the scenes, you know, when the computer's crunching, you know, all the different whatever. But bottom line is when you're actually playing, you see enemies draw back and reel and fall back a lot more often with axes and especially maces, right? Like I said, maces too high stamina draw and too slow. It doesn't justify it. I don't think. Axes are that nice sweet middle spot. If I wasn't restricted to just iron, I would probably run with a couple of these Draugr axes, which I think the basic Draugr axes, I think you can upgrade those, but if you find like the honed ones, the ones that say honed, I don't even think you can smith those. I think they just are what they are. But they look kind of cool. They have more of a barbaric look. And why won't Uthgard follow me up that ramp? I'm just curious. I think she's running around the back side. Yeah, she is. She's fun, huh? I guess the AI has certain paths that they follow no matter what. Okay, well, whatever. This is how you lose your followers out in the wilderness. You'll run straight, and their path tells them to go all the way down to the edge of a mountain range, and then all the way back. And you only walk 5 feet. In fact, I've been standing in a spot and watch my follower just take off and run off until they disappear off in the distance, and then run right back and reset and stand right next to me and look at me like what? You know. You see how much faster I'm swinging. This is... Wait till we actually get some stamina to use. I think I got some now. Wait till I get some in the 300s and I've got my armor buffed and my stamina. Your stamina also, as you level, starts to regenerate faster. I think to compensate for an extended stamina pool. So, like if you have double the stamina and it regenerates twice as fast, it still looks like it's regenerating at the same speed as when it was a shorter bar. I think they compensate for that, and that you can definitely use that to your advantage. All right, so these reveal the pattern of the little turnstile puzzle thingies out front. Looks like the first one is the whale. We got snake whale. So whale, bird, snake, whale. Is that right? I think that was right. Ta-da! Alright, good deal. Watch me trigger this trap on this. You know, tired of all these damn traps. Yeah, take that, huh? That's right. I can hit a tripwire from 50 yards. That's right. Are you serious? They stacked them? Oh, that's sneaky, man. Give me that. Wants to be a stupid trap on this door, too. I don't think so. Let's see one anyway. Oh, that was lucky. Okay, and this is a trap. You see those glowing things on the wall? They're going to shoot fire in here a second. Watch. Alright. Well, that must have been Uthgerd stepping through the boulders. I swore that sounded like more opening coffins or something. Alright. Alright, let's go. Alright, here we go. Oh, this one actually is easy. You don't just rush in like Rambo, like, oh, I'm just going to run up to the top. All these coffins don't mean shit. Nothing could pop out of them, right? Just kind of just chill right here, and this becomes a shooting gallery. This is actually kind of fun. I like using my bow here, whether I have to or not. I like using my bow. Take advantage of a few summons. Come on, there we go. I believe every single coffin spawns something in here. What? Caught him running. What are you shooting at down here? I guess I'll let them handle that, whatever it is. That's nice. Summon lasts just about as long as it takes my magicka to regen. Without any real regen buffs. Very cool. Not sure if I have any empties or not, but might as well refill this thing. I think there's one of the passives on the bow tree that also gives you a chance to stagger or paralyze an enemy for a second or two. Definitely helpful. It'll keep a mage off of Uthgerd or whoever my tank is at the time. It'll disrupt them. It's also nice to when you're able to disrupt like a bandit highwayman in the middle of a power attack, which is most likely going to one-shot just about anybody. Those things are nasty. Yeah, we're not really even close to done. Say every single coffin spawns something in here. Once I unlock the trait, I don't have it yet, but the bonus to blocking, and give that to Uthgerd for a shield, it actually makes a difference. She can block more damage. She's a beast with a shield. I mean, she really is. You can't tell. She will tank 3, 4, 5 enemies. Higher level enemies, too. She can do it. Give her something to absorb stamina, something to buff her stamina, and something to buff her blocking ability. She's good to go. Armor rating is not near as important. Just giving her some resources to work with. This isn't near as bad as the horde that attack you at the end of that first companions thing. At the end when you go to get those first pieces of woo thread. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. Wave after wave after wave of leveled friggin' zombies. But this is still quite a few. We're still not done. Still hear them popping open. I'm like, how many coffins are in this place, man? Seriously. Let's go ahead and loot a little bit. Get some of this now. I don't have to come back for it. Okay, the Draugrs have some cool-ass sounding shouts. When they do their Fusorda, that shit sounds like it's being done with some authority. I'm not kidding. I gotta admit. I'm kind of jealous, really. It's got like a complex. Like, my shot doesn't sound that legit, bro. He's like, bro, you even shout? You even thum, man? You even thum, bro? Market Death did make a difference there. It did make some difference. I get excited when I start to work with that because it's literally my favorite shout and it really does some cool stuff, and it's more of a tactical. It's not just a straight damage dealer. It's not just like a straight Firestorm or Fire Breath or Ice Breath or this or that or blah blah blah, or, you know, summon a backup dragon to come in and fight for you. No, this is more kind of a tactical thing. Break down the enemy armor, strip his defenses, and then come in. And honestly, this is essentially what basically gave me the logic that I made my one of my Reaver builds, and sort of by extension my Assassin build on Dragon Age Inquisition. This the ability to sunder armor. I'm like, well, you know, if an enemy has no defenses and you're basically treating them as if they're naked, basically make their armor irrelevant, then that's almost better than just increasing your overall damage. Like, if I increase my sword damage by 200%, but I'm going up with somebody with a, or I increase my, I got a sword that does 100 damage, and I increase it by 200. That's a lot, you know. I give it 200% extra damage, right? So now it's doing 300 instead of 100, but an enemy's armor rating is 250. And when you calculate all the damages, it mitigates 250 points of that damage. My big badass super uber sword is only doing 50 points of damage. But if I can destroy, say, a certain percentage of that enemy's armor, like, say, 70% of that armor, well, if his armor rating is 250 and 70% of that, I don't know the exact numbers, it's right in the, say, 180 range or whatever. Okay, now my sword is pulling off a lot more damage, right? So, just for example, so breaking down an enemy's armor, when I saw they had available in Inquisition, I'm like, you know, you could build around this. And then you go look at how they actually do calculate the damage, you know, damage plus critical damage, then you subtract armor, then you throw in a bunch of other stuff. If you can get that initial damage you're doing to bleed through, and then stack any of your other bonuses on behind that, now you're stacking bonuses on a much higher base number, right? Especially if you get a multiplier in there, like you have something at the tail end of that does double damage. If the number bleeding past all of their defenses is 100 instead of, say, 20, then when you double that, you got 200 instead of 40. That's huge. All right, that's huge. So breaking down an enemy's defenses, breaking down his armor is big. And this is kind of where I just got that whole mindset. You know, I would say it came from this, using the Mark of Death shout. and using it almost exclusively. I mean, I throw in some of the other ones. Some of them for quest-related stuff. There's actually a couple shouts that you kind of need to use specifically to get through, like, to go get the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller, which we got to eventually go do here pretty soon. And stuff like that. There's some that you have to use, like Whirlwind Sprint and stuff like that. Basically to get through the cave. That's the reason they give them to you, so you can go kind of see different ways that you can use them, which is cool. It's kind of like another tutorial section, I guess you could say, in the game. But as far as just, you know, straight up combat, what I use most, I would say it's Mark for Death. Alright, so we cleared this out. Now, if this was his whole scheme, was to get Wendelius out of the way and open up this cave for him, it's open. But he's not going to find much when he gets down here. Okay, now, from here, what I think I'm going to do is, since I'm pretty much overloaded, and we'll be running into some dragons pretty soon. Dragon bones are really heavy and stuff like that. I think I'm going to go unload, do some smithing, do some enchanting, selling, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and save my levels. So when we get back on video, I'll actually level up for you guys. Show you which direction I'm going with the character and blah, blah, blah. And show you where I put my points and so on and so forth. But, yeah, I think I'll travel to Whiterun. And then when we meet up again, I'll go to by the Whiterun stables. There's an actual carriage, and you can use it to take you to any of the main cities. In fact, I think you can use it to take you to any of the holds, period. But there's only a carriage in the main cities. Like, say, if I were to go to something like Dawnstar or something that's not a major hold, I couldn't come back. I couldn't take the carriage from there anywhere else because the carriage doesn't hang out there. He only hangs out in the major cities, but he does hang out at Whiterun. So I'll go smith and sell and enchant and do whatever I'm going to do in Whiterun, and then I'll go out front and I'll go meet you guys by the stables when I'm done doing all my chores, I guess you could say. And then we'll take off, and we'll probably go up by Solitude, I think. And we'll go get the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller, or at least head that way. Huh? Sound like a plan? Alright, if you want to subscribe, click that button up top. If you want to catch the rest of this Let's Play from the start, you can click that image there in the middle. It'll send you to the playlist. Alright? Thanks for watching. Y'all take care, and I will catch you guys in the next one.